Russia threatens UK. Direct strikes on military targets feared. Tensions in the Ukraine conflict have just escalated dramatically. Russia issued a stark warning today, stating it could strike British military targets both inside and outside Ukraine. This dire threat comes in response to the potential use of long-range British cruise missiles by Kyiv against targets deep within Russian territory. Just yesterday, Moscow accused Ukraine of using British Storm Shadow missiles to strike a shopping center in Russian-controlled Donetsk, reportedly wounding civilians, including children. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova minced no words, declaring that Britain is one step away from becoming legally complicit in what she termed civilian-targeted terrorism. She warned of catastrophic consequences if the UK fails to change its course. Zakharova reiterated that any British military installations and equipment, whether in Ukraine or beyond its borders, could become legitimate targets if British weapons are used in strikes on Russian territory. She implored British leaders to immediately abandon what she called their hostile, aggressive line to prevent the conflict from reaching an entirely new level. This alarming rhetoric follows a visit by British Prime Minister Andy Burnham to Ukraine for Independence Day, where he announced plans for a defense contractor to potentially release classified information about British components in the long-range SCALP cruise missile. Ukraine and France are reportedly seeking to establish assembly lines for these missiles in Ukraine. The SCALP missile, the French equivalent of Britain's Storm Shadow, can hit targets over 155 miles away. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov echoed Moscow's stance, asserting that the UK is participating in the war and pouring fuel on the fire. However, Britain's Ministry of Defence swiftly responded, stating London stands shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine and remains committed to providing the equipment Kyiv needs to defend itself against Russia's illegal invasion. They made it clear that Russia should have no doubt about the UK government's resolve against Russian aggression. During his Kyiv visit, Prime Minister Burnham himself condemned Russia's outrageous threats, reaffirming that Britain's support for Ukraine would not waver. This isn't the first warning from Russia. They previously cautioned Britain in mid-August after reports surfaced that British-made drones supplied to Ukraine had been used for the first time to strike military and industrial targets inside Russia. Britain's Ministry of Defence has not confirmed the use of British drones in those strikes. In a related development, Maria Zakharova's remarks coincided with former President Donald Trump downplaying concerns about a broader war, telling Axios he wasn't worried about Russia attacking a NATO member. Additionally, Sergei Naryshkin, the head of Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, confirmed a recent meeting with CIA Director John Ratcliffe in Moscow, describing their discussions as routine matters within the scope of their intelligence services. As the rhetoric intensifies, the world watches closely for what could be the next phase of this escalating conflict.